All right, I am going to show you guys how I made the eyes for my Logan.Dolls garage kit. These are 3mm eyes, which are not easy to find, but they're really super easy to make the way that I make them. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's see here. So you're going to need a few things. You're going to need some clay, some white clay. I am going to be using Milliput because it is self-curing. So this is a two-part that you're going to combine together, and then it cures in about 3 to 4 hours. So, but you can use whatever you have. If you have like air dry clay or Fimo or whatever. And then you're going to want some paint. So for this doll, I used some of the, where is the color that I used? I used some of the Arteza gouache colors. I really like these gouache colors for doll stuff. They are really cheap, and they have really nice vibrant colors. So I recommend these. So I've used these, and I've also used some acrylics. So yeah, but whatever kind of like opaque style paint that you have that will work with your clay medium is what I would suggest you use. And then I also have one of these little dotting tools. This is from a nail art kit. You can find these all over the place. They're not very expensive. And then I also used just like one of these with like a little piece of like some Fimo clay to help hold my eyes on while I painted them. And then you'll also want some sort of a gloss medium. Normally I would use like a Winsor & Newton gloss medium for my face ups, but mine has seemed to have walked away. So for these I actually used Mod Podge, and it works just fine, and this stuff isn't super expensive. So yeah, so let's get started. So I'm going to grab a piece of my clay, and so for the Milliput it's it is 2 parts, and you'll want to make sure that you really evenly distribute them. For this demonstration I'm just going to use some white Fimo clay because I'm going to do that kind of, you know, cooking show magic. Because I have some that are already cured. So, but for the demonstration, I'm just going to use this. Oh, one more tool that it's honestly optional, and I don't even know where I set it. I had it earlier. Maybe I dropped it. Oh, here it is. But you can use I forgot what this is even called. A caliper. There we go. You can use a caliper. Like I said, the doll takes 3mm eyes, so you can use it to measure. So yeah. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take a little small piece of clay, and you are going to roll it out into a little ball. And it does not have to be perfect. And if you have like a silicone mat, I definitely recommend using one. I usually use the cooking mats because they're sometimes a little bit cheaper than the craft mats. So you'll want this to be like really close to 3 millimeters. It's fine if it's slightly larger. All right, so that's, and then what you're gonna do is take the little daughter tool, and you're gonna put a little divot in it. Just like that. So it kind of looks like, almost like a little donut. You don't want to put it all the way through, you just want a divot. So what that is gonna do, here's some that I made earlier. I made these ones last night. So they are nice and cured. That will give you a really even round space to put your paint. And then once it's painted, the shadows will end up making it look like you have a pupil as well. So you'll want this to cure, or you'll need to bake it or let it air dry. However, you know, depending on what kind of clay you use, just follow the instructions on it. So if you're like me and you used Milliput for your originals, it's about 3 to 4 hours before you can start messing with them. So then, pretty easy, you're just gonna take your paint, and so for this one I'm gonna use my bubblegum pink. And you're gonna take that with a little bit of water, because this is water-based paint, or water-activated paint. So I have a little bit left over from earlier that's hardened, so I'm just gonna add some water to it to get it going. Like so. And then you can either use your daughter tool, or you could use like a needle, which is what I used for mine. Or you can use one of these tiny little liner brushes if you have those. But you're basically, let's see if I can find the needle that I used earlier. Here it is. Oh yeah, this is what I did earlier. I took some soft clay and I stuck it on here, and then I stuck my eyes on here, and that for me made it a lot easier to get them to paint them. So I'm going to take the end of my needle and just get a little bit of paint on it, and I'm going to drop that into the little space that's left. And the nice thing about this is because it's so small, and because like most of this is going to be hidden inside of the head, it doesn't need to be perfect. So I kind of made like a little smudge over there, and like a little smudge over here, you can kind of hide that by the way that you position it in the head. So you're just gonna let that dry. And again, I'm gonna do like the goofy cooking show magic where I have some that I painted earlier and are not finished. So I'm just gonna pop them on here. And these ones are purple. So they'll be really nice and dark when I put them in the doll. So I guess that's one more tool that you're gonna want that I forgot, is that you're gonna want a paintbrush to brush on the gloss. Now, these do look just fine in the doll without the gloss. So if you want to do that, if you want to just like finish there, that's fine. But I really liked the way that it looked with the gloss. So I'm just going to take like a very, very small amount. And I'm just going to start brushing it onto the white parts of the eye, and I'm not going to paint the color parts of the eye just yet. And the reason I'm doing that is because this is a water activated paint, and I don't want to accidentally activate it with the glue and have it smear. So what I'll do is I'll do a dot of glue on top of it at the end. And that will also seal in your paint too. My camera keeps going in and out of focus. So for the little dot at the end, I'm just gonna try to get the medium like just on the very end of my brush so I don't make a huge mess. And I'm just gonna do a good dot in there. And it'll end up looking kind of like that, which looks a little goofy, but when it dries, it will dry clear, I promise you. So, and that's the whole thing. You're just gonna, I'll grab like another little blob of clay and then just kind of set this on it so that way it doesn't roll away, and let it dry like that. And that's pretty much it. You'll just let it dry, and then once it's completely dry, you can put it in your doll. And honestly, putting the eyes in the doll is the hardest part of the whole process because it's so small, and trying to get them like evenly positioned is really difficult. So so I'll kind of show you what I did here. I basically made like a donut of the eye putty, so that way I could still reach the eye, and I can use my daughter to like kind of push it around to be in the position that I wanted it to be. So they're even still not quite perfect, but I feel like it's good enough that most people probably won't really notice. It's really hard to get them. Oh, see, now I moved it over this way. Dang it. But yeah, it's pretty hard to get them to go where you want. So that's definitely the hardest part of making these eyes. But that's how I did it. And you can kind of see like the way that the shadows hit it, because it's a divot. It kind of gives you like the suggestion of a pupil in the middle. just from the shadows. It's so small that you really can't like get a pupil in there. So, but if you did get one of these garage kits and you think that this might be even still too difficult to do, one thing that I did see recently, I went to the Dollar Tree, and in like their resin craft section, they had resin fillers, and they had these little jewels. And it was 9 different colors for $3, and these are right around 3 millimeters. So if you wanted to do something kind of a little weird, you could have like gemstone eyes. So just stick them in with some eye putty. I think that would be a really, really cool sort of alternative if you can't find 3 millimeter eyes or you don't want to make them. So, but yeah, that was my really simple, really easy tutorial on how to make these eyes. And yeah, like I said, there's a lot of like imperfections. There's like a crack here, and there's like some paint that got over here. And honestly, like, it is so small that you're probably not even going to notice it, and you can always just position them in the head so that way the eyelid like covers that up. So really easy. They look totally goofy outside of the head, but I think they look pretty good once you put them in your doll. So, yep. Ta-da! So cute. I think next time, I mean, I don't know if it'll be next time, but at some point I might try to do a wig. This is one that Logan made, and it's not the greatest, but I think it's really, really beautiful. He said he made it with really, really cheap doll fiber and some super glue. So it's very, like, very, very stiff. And so I did order some cheap doll fiber so I could experiment with it. So I might try to film that process and see if I can't get something cute going. But anyways, thanks everyone. Bye.